Good day. This is Michael M. Rams Jr., student of Master of Engineering, major in Computer Engineering. In this video, I will share and apply what I have learned from Professor Dr. Edwin R. Arboleta in Meng 203 Computer Aided Drafting and Design in Cavite State University Main Campus. In this video, we will focus first on what are the different commands in drawing in AutoCAD. AutoCAD 2021 has full of new features built from the way of our world and automates to boost productivity in the process. As we know, we can create the plans of our project by using AutoCAD. Also, the Autodesk or part of the AutoCAD helped me a lot in designing circuitry by using another application of them, which is the Tinkercad. And now, Autodesk is here for us to share our insights and learnings in computer-aided drafting. Now, let's start our discussion and our application number one, which is drawing commands, by tackling the mouse settings for AutoCAD 2021. Okay, in this video, I will use the application AutoCAD version 2021. And as you can see, we have here the mouse button that pertains or tells what are the different settings by pressing each button. First one, we have here the left mouse button. Once we click that, we can specify our drawing or we can select an object of our drawing. In pressing the left mouse button, we can select all of the objects or we can select a certain objects in our drawing. Moving on to the right part, which is the right mouse button. Once we click that right mouse button, we can see the customization to improve our drawing productivity. So while clicking the right mouse button, we can see different commands, shortcut commands that we can redo, undo, or select some properties of our object. On the middle part, by clicking or scrolling the scroll bar, we can pan our drawing table or we can zoom it in or zoom it out. Okay, so for this part, we can now open our AutoCAD, which is the Autodesk AutoCAD 2021, by clicking the application or typing it in our screen. AutoCAD 2021 English. So you may use any version of AutoCAD. Okay, so to start it on this part, we have here the get started of our Autodesk AutoCAD 2021. So let's press start drawing. Okay, and we have here this part. As you can see, this is the part in which we can draw different objects in Autodesk AutoCAD 2021. So let's go back to our presentation. So we have here the left mouse button. If we will click the left mouse button, so we have here specify opposite corners. So we can identify the position of our X and Y axis to select. By clicking the left mouse button and panning it to the right, we can select a certain object using this blue shade. Okay, this blue shade specify what are the specific objects inside of it. And once click, all of the objects that are inside of the shaded blue are selected. On the other hand, if we will click the left mouse button and then pan it to the left, as you can see, we can select certain objects that are part of the shaded green. Okay, the difference of the shaded green and shaded blue are, once we select this sample, okay, if one part of an object is part of the shaded green, all of that object will be selected. Later on, we will have an example of selecting an object using the blue shade and using the green shade. Okay? By right-clicking, okay, let's proceed to the right mouse button. If we will right-click, we can see different applications or different shortcut commands like options, find, quick calculator, quick select, action recorder, pan, zoom, undo, redo, isolate, clipboard for cut, copy, and paste, and we have here repeat action, which is help. Okay? So by clicking now the scroll bar, so we can zoom in and we can zoom out. By clicking the scroll bar, we can see an hold, okay, an hold icon pertaining to panning it to the left, top, right, and bottom. So those are the different settings of our mouse. So in this drawing part, we have here the y-axis and we have here the x-axis part. Okay, so let's proceed to the actual application of drawing commands by starting it discussing what's in the line. So in line, we can create a line, okay, in the drawing table. So how can we draw it? So by typing the term line, or we can type the shortcut L for line. So in this AutoCAD 2021 version, we can type or we can press the line button in the home menu. So by clicking this line button, we can create a certain line at this part. As you can see, if we will create a line, there are some recommendation of the length, the degree of the line, if it is flat line, or line that is lowered, or line that is high. Okay? In this setting, we have here the line pertaining to this sample. Okay? So we can create another line and another line. By pressing enter or escape, we can close out or end the line drawing on this part. Okay? So we click the line button and then we can create a line. Escape or enter to cancel. We can type letter L, and once we click enter, we can draw a line. And then enter. We can type it on this type command, L, enter, and now we can create another line. Enter. So we can type all of the spelling of the line and we can create another line. Okay? So that is the first command that we can draw a certain line. Now, what if I want to try or draw a line by using the endpoint or certain part of that specific line? So at this point, we can do the command of Osnap, which is the shortcut command for function tree, or we will type the term Osnap. So what is Osnap? Osnap is a shortcut term for object snap. Object snap or Osnap helps us to create a certain object within a certain part of object. So how we will activate it? So first thing to do is we can activate it using the function tree button in our keyboard. So by pressing F3, so as you can see, we have here Osnap off. Okay? Recently or previously, our drawing table, okay, in this AutoCAD version 2021, the Osnap is activated. So once you've pressed F3, the Osnap will turn off. So to turn off the Osnap, we can press function F3. Okay? So some keyboards, we will press F3 to turn on the Osnap. So Osnap is activated. So if we will draw or we will draw a line, so L line, so we can specify a certain line by using the endpoint of this second line, the endpoint of the second line, the midpoint of this line. Okay? So that is the use of Osnap. Okay? So for example, we will draw a line on this part. So we will use this endpoint and then we will create another line and then escape. So a line, once we zoom it in, the first starting point of this line is in the end point of this line. Okay? So by pressing F3, okay, for turning on and turning off, or we could type Osnap. Once we press enter, we have here the functions of our Osnap. So once Osnap is activated, some parts of the object will be activated. Okay? So for this example, we draw a line by using the endpoint of this object line. So we have here different functions such as midpoint, center, geometric center, node, quadrant, intersection, extension, another insertion, perpendicular, tangent, okay, nearest, apparent intersection, and we have here parallel. So at this point, I will only activate the endpoint, midpoint, the center, intersection, and the perpendicular part. Okay? So to activate Osnap, we can press Osnap and then press this checkbox to turn it off. So once Osnap is off, if we will create a certain line, we cannot select the endpoint and the midpoint of this line. So to activate it, we could press or type Osnap, okay, escape, Osnap. Then we could press this object snap and then OK. Once we've created line, as you can see, we have here suggestions of the endpoint, suggestions of the midpoint, and the suggestion of this part. So we could create a line at this part and then escape. So we have here line. We can create a line using the endpoint of this created line, and we have this one. Okay? So that is the use of our Osnap. Okay? Using F3. Then same goes in creating a line, we will press L. Okay? Another command that we will tackle is we have here erase. So in erasing, we have here the shortcut command letter E. Okay? So how to erase? So we can erase a certain object or we could erase all of the objects in this drawing table. So to activate erase, so we could type E or we could type the whole name erase. So once we press letter E and select enter, so we could erase a certain object by clicking it. For example, this line, and this line. Once we press enter, those selected lines will be erased. Okay? Another function of erase of solo, we have here the multiple. So we will type erase. Okay? So we could type all. By typing all, we could erase all of the objects in this drawing table. As you can see, all objects are highlighted as gray. So once we press enter, all of the lines are deleted. Okay? So no objects are found in this drawing area. Okay? So what if I want to restore all of those lines? So we could use the undo option. So how to use undo option? So we could type U, and once we press enter, we can undo all of the objects that are being deleted. So another one, U. So we've restored the objects that are deleted earlier using erase. Okay? So that is the undo command. Now, let's proceed on the second command, underline, which is the close. So close is a shortcut command to close a certain line. So for this part, we could press a line or select a certain line. Like for example, I click line L. So I have here this first line. Okay. After clicking that, I want to create a triangle. So I will create another line by following the endpoint of the first line. And I want to close it using this part. Okay, so I can click the endpoint of the first line. So I have here a triangle. Okay, so that is the first step to create a triangle. But applying close is the easier one. So first step, we will press L to create a line. We have here the first line. We have here the second line. And once we press letter C for close, automatically it will close the two lines and it will create another line to create a triangle. Okay? So this is the shortcut command for closing a line to create a certain object. So we could create a triangle by clicking the endpoint of the line, or we could create or close a line by typing letter C. So let's have another example. So line L. So I want to create a quadrilateral. So four-sided. So it's like a trapezoid. So C for close. So we have here this polygon. For the second part of this drawing in AutoCAD 2021, we will tackle the point. So if we drew or draw a line earlier, now we will create a point in AutoCAD 2021. So how can we create a point or certain point in this drawing? So first thing to do is we will press or type PO, shortcut command for point. So we will select a certain part of this drawing. So for example, this one. So we have here a point. Okay. Another PO, or we will type point. Okay. So point, and then we will create a certain point at this point. So if we will zoom in on this diagram or in this drawing, we could see a certain point at this part. Okay. Zoom out, then we have here a certain point on this part if we would zoom in. So this point is just a simple dot. Okay. So let's type on this type A command, point. So we drew a point at this part, PO point at this part. Okay. So that's how we can draw a point. Okay. So the next part of command regarding to the point is we have here the DDP type. So we have here the point style or the point style of the point created a while ago. So for the command DDP type, so we could select any sample of styles in our point by pressing or typing DDP type in AutoCAD. So let's start by typing DDP type. Okay, press enter and a dialog box will show. So we have here the point style. So in point style, we have here different diagrams of points that we could select. So at this point, we have here a simple dot. So what if we want a plus sign of our points? So we will click this plus and then press OK. So the points we've created a while ago will turn plus sign. Okay? So if we want to draw a certain point, so we will press PO, then select a certain part of this drawing area, and then we will create a point. Now, if we want to select another style of point, so we could press DDP type, okay? And then if I want to make a cross point arrow, so I have here the plus and the circle, so I'll press OK. So I have here a pointing arrow, okay? Crossbow arrow part, okay? So I have here the plus sign and the circle, okay? Also, in the DDP type, we could adjust the point size. So at this example, I have here 0.5%. So what if I want it 10? So the point size of these 5 are enlarged. Okay? So if I want to DDP type, then I press 100. So the point is enlarged 100 times. So if I want to reduce, okay, so I don't want a large point size, so let's press DDP type. Then set it back to 5 and press OK. So this is the sample points of the line. So I press the panning by clicking the scroll bar and pan it to the left and also pan it to the right. Okay, so that is the DDP type. Okay, so if I want to erase something, so let's press E and then select objects. Okay, for example, the drawn triangle and this quadrilateral, and then press enter, so they are now deleted. So erase, for example, this example lines. So for example, this green. So as you can see, only a portion of this line is selected using this green, okay, green shade or shaded green. So all of the objects are erased. So if I want blue, so even if some of the parts of the line are selected or inside the shaded blue, to be accessed or to be deleted or to be selected, it must be all of that object. Okay? And then enter. So next command that we will discuss is we have here the divide. So in divide, if we have this sample of lines, we could divide it into segments. So as you can see, if we will create or apply this divide command, a certain line on this point or at this part will have different points. So what is an example of this one? So for divide, we could type the whole spelling of the divide, or we could type only DIV. So let's proceed on the sample drawing. So let's try to edit this first line. Okay, so by typing div. So div, shortcut for divide. So we have here the function select object to divide. So we will first select this first line. Once selected, so we have here enter the number of segments or blocks. So I want to divide this line into 2. So I will type 2 and press enter. So as you can see, this line is divided into 2. So we have here a certain segment or divider, okay, between this line. Okay, so let's have another example. What if I want to divide this sample line into 4? So first thing to do is type div or divide, press enter, select the certain line, okay, then I want to divide it into 4. So press 4 and click enter. So as you can see, we have here 3 different points, and these 3 different points divides the line into 4 segments. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's try the other lines. So we have here div. Select this one. What if I want 20? So I have here 19 points dividing the line into 20. So another one, div 100, invalid. So div div press line 100. So I have here 99 points dividing the line into 100 segments, and etc. So div select, I want to div press this line, and I want it divided into 5. Okay, so these are the examples of applying the command divide. Okay, so let's press U for undo. Okay, so the line are retained. Okay, the divide command are erased by applying the undo command. So if I want to erase this sample point, so I have here, or I want to type E, then select this lines or sample points and click enter to divide them all. Okay, so next command to be applied in this sample video is we have here the circle. So in creating a circle, we could type the spelling of circle, or we could press letter C in our keyboard. So pressing C and clicking enter, we could create a circle. So first thing to do is click and then drag, okay, a certain, okay, and then another click to have a circle. So by pressing circle or C, so clicking the point, so we could create a certain circle with a specified radius. So at this point, so we have here specified radius of our circle. So if I want a radius of 100, so once I press enter, so this is the circle with the radius of 100. Okay, another one, another example, see. So I'll click here and I want a radius of 300. So this is the circle with a radius of 300. So this is 100 and this is the radius of a circle, 300. Now, what if I want to create a circle using diameter? So in creating a circle using a diameter, so in circle, radius is R or absolute. So type lang natin yung value ng ating radius. Okay? So if we want a diameter, so click lang natin, okay? Press R on this part. So C, circle, then click a certain area of this part, okay? So once now we want to create a diameter, so we will press letter D and then click enter. So specify diameter of the circle. So if the radius of this first circle is 100, okay, so the diameter must be 200. So if the diameter is 200, we have your circle that is equivalent to the radius of 100. Now, if we want to create a circle with a diameter same to this second circle, so this circle has a radius of 300. So let's press C, enter, then certain point of this one, and then press D for diameter. So after clicking D, so specify the diameter of the circle. So the diameter of the circle at this point is 600. So because the radius of this circle is 300, so the diameter of the second one must be 600 to have the same circle. Okay? So two circles are the same. These circles are done using the radius, and these circles are done using diameter. So selecting them all and click delete, or we could use the erase part. So let's undo. Okay, E for erase, then select, 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 enter for delete. Okay, so in circle a while ago when we press C, so there are some commands. We have here the 3P, the 2P, and we have here the TR for the tan radius of a circle. So let's try to create some examples of circle. So I have here a sample circle at this point, and a sample circle in this part. Okay, so let's create a circle using the 3P command. Okay, so the 3P command under the circle, okay, so once we press C, and we have here 3P, so 3P stands for 3 points. So if we'll type 3P and press enter, so we will create a certain circle using 3 points. So how? So for example, I will create a circle using the midpoint of this, or the center of the circle. Okay, I will create the first point of the circle. Second point of the circle is I will create using this midpoint, or the center of the second circle. And then the third one is I will use the midpoint of the third circle. So the 3 points in creating the fourth circle is using the midpoints of the first, second, and third circle. So I've created a circle using the 3 points. Okay, so let's delete. So we could use erase, click the circle, and press enter. So what if I want to create a circle using the endpoint of this line, the endpoint of this line, and the midpoint of the center? So let's create a circle by clicking C. Then we'll type 3P. Then we'll create the first point of the circle using this endpoint, the second circle or the second point of the circle on this line endpoint, and the third point of the circle will lie on this center of the circle. So that's how we can create a circle using 3 points. Okay? So let's try the 2p. So in 2p command in the circle, 2p stands for 2 points. So once we press 2p and click enter, 2 points are needed to create a circle. So for example, if I want to use this line, okay, this line, I will use the first point, the first endpoint, and the second endpoint, I would create a circle. So this line emphasizes that this is or this will be the diameter of the circle. Okay? Another example, so if I will draw a line, or I will draw a circle using 2 lines or 2 points of 2 lines. So see, typing 2p, 2 points. So I will use this endpoint and this endpoint to create a circle. So let's click this first line endpoint and the third line endpoint to create a circle. Okay, so that's the function of 2p. Now, on the third function or third command in circle, in typing C, we could see the TTR, or we could type letter T. So T stands for the tangent of a circle or tangent of a specific line. So for example, if we press T, so I will create a circle using the tangents of 2 objects. So for example, at this point, so we have here a trigger hint icon for tangent. So by pressing this one, we could create a deferred tangent of a circle. Then, the second deferred tangent on the other circle. So this is the second click. And the third click will be the radius. Okay? And once we press it, we could create a circle on tangent of those circles. Okay? Again, so erase. Let's press this object. Enter. Erase. Enter. So I want a circle in tangent of these 2 circles, for example. So let's create C for circle. A tangent, letter T for tangent or TTR. Okay. So T. So tangent at this point and tangent on this point. So let's click and then draw a certain second point. Okay. And then click. So we have here the tangent of a circle. Okay. So the circle is in line or in tangent of those 2 circles. So that is the function of TTR. So that's how we can create a circle using 3 points, using 2 points, and using tangent. So for the last part of this drawing commands, we have here the list. So the shortcut command for list is we have here li. So how li works? So first thing to do is we must type li. So li is the shortcut command for list. Pressing enter will identify whether what object we want to see the list. So the list may have a certain value of its x or y coordinates or other functions. So for example, I will use this line, this object. So once we press this object and click enter, we could see the list of this line, specifically the layer, the space, the handle, the point from x to y to z axis, and another point from that x to y and z axis, the length of the line, the angle in x and y plane, the delta x, the delta y, and also the delta z. So that is the list. Okay? Another example. So let's try li. Let's select this circle and then press enter. So as you can see, the command part will provide a certain information about the circle, specifying the layer, the space model, the handle, the center point, the x, y, z coordinates, the radius of the circle, okay, the circumference, and also the area. Okay, so that are the examples of commands applied firstly on drawing. So we have here the line, the undo close, we have here the point, we have here the DDP type to identify certain styles of the point, the divide, the circle, which we could create through radius, diameter. We could identify and create circle through 3 points, 2 points, and the tangent, and identify the object using list. So Osnap, another command that can be used to create a certain object by identifying the endpoint, midpoint, and others, and also to delete certain objects, we could use erase. Okay, so thank you for watching this video, and I hope you have learned a lot when it comes to drawing command. So if you love and like my video, you could subscribe in Michael RMS. So we have here where we apply what we've learned from the academe. Subscribe now. Thank you so much. Have a great day.